Good morning. Thursday, August 15th. I don't know. I'm having a slow start this morning. I don't know what's up. I don't feel very awake. Um, I had a dog who wanted to sleep on my head for most of the night last night. Um, but you know what? I'm here. I'm alive. It's today, and I'm just going to try to make the best of it. Because it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to be tired. It's okay to be a little bit cranky as long as I don't take it out on anybody else. It's okay. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. I just might be a little slower than usual today. So I think I'm going to go ahead and read the daily meditation today. Keep it simple. Daily meditations for 12-step beginners and see where we go from there. Okay, we know what we are, but know not what we may be. That's from Shakespeare, William Shakespeare. We are addicts, or we're people with substance use disorders. We suffer from an illness. We go to recovery meetings because we know who we are. We have a sponsor or people to hold us accountable in recovery because we know who we are. We ask friends for support because we know who we are. We know why we need our higher power to guide us. Recovery is a spiritual journey. In this journey, we are followers, not guides. It's a journey that will change us. We don't know how recovery will change us, but we know it will. Is my faith strong enough for my journey? Part of how we get strong for our journey is by knowing who we truly are, people with an addiction. Prayer for the day. I'll pray to remember who I am, so I'll learn to respect the power of my illness. Action for today. I'll take time to remember my past, both good and bad. I'll also take time to think about who I am now and how far I have come. So I was thinking, I'm just thinking about, of course, routine and back to school and getting stuff kind of done and feeling kind of like grown-ups, because I still really struggle with that. I still really struggle with like imposter syndrome and all that stuff. And one thing that happens to me a lot is I learned about this in a training. So my brain kind of scans for information constantly to reinforce stories I tell myself. So what that looks like in real life is when I am running behind, I start telling myself what a loser I am. I couldn't find the right hair stuff yesterday. And that just started my whole disease, telling me like what a loser I am. I'll never get it together. I might as well just give up. What? Some days that's just what my brain is looking for all day, just a reason to give up, a reason to say F it. And, I have to be able to kind of stop and say, wait a minute, what am I looking? Am I looking for evidence that I'm not doing that? Like what is going on? Because it catches me off guard and I don't know what is going on. And there's a Brene Brown thing on Netflix right now, and she's kind of a big popular lady right now. She's I think a professor, and she's in recovery, and she does this stuff about shame and being authentic and all this stuff. And so I watched her. She has a thing on Netflix, especially when I watched it. And she was telling this story about being out in a lake swimming with her husband. And, she's like, tells him, oh, I feel really close to you right now. I'm glad we're doing this, and he kind of looks at her and he's like, water's great. So she's freaking out. She's like, I'm being so vulnerable. I'm talking to him. What's going on? And when they talked about it later, she discovered that he was having a panic attack out swimming in this open water. And he was just focusing on getting back to shore. And how she kind of handled this, and I thought this was really interesting, and I like this technique a lot. She can has the ability to kind of pause and say, what is the story I'm telling myself right now? Like, so she was telling herself, that she was being vulnerable and she was opening up to her husband and he was rejecting her. And, he thought that she was out of shape and she didn't look good in her swimsuit and he just didn't want anything to do with her when that's not what was going on at all. Um, so I really like that idea of what is the story I'm telling myself right now. And is my story selling myself short? You know, am I telling myself that I am such a loser because I can't find my hair product? Is that a true story? No, it's not a true story. I'm somebody who works really hard. I'm somebody who works really hard in recovery. I have adult ADHD. I forget where stuff is. Sometimes I don't plan well. Sometimes I don't use my time wisely. That used to be like a thing where you got evaluated on your report card when I was a kid. Uses time wisely. It was never good. Um, I'm somebody who needs to plan more. I'm somebody who needs to take a little time the night before and think about what I'm doing. That's my story. That's it. I'm not a loser. We tell ourselves two sides of each story. We tell ourselves we're bad at things we're good at. We tell ourselves we're good at things we're bad at. We have this constant thing going on, and it's exhausting. It's so exhausting. And I was listening to people talking about parenting yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, wow, I wish I was parenting. That was really, yeah. The story I was telling myself is that parenting is only when your children are little, when they're young. And that's not true. You know, I'm good at parenting adult children. My kids are 21 almost and 23, and they still need a mom, and they still need a mom who is present for them. So that means, I'm not off the hook. They didn't move out. I can't start drinking again. I still need to be present for my kids. But part of me is like, oh yeah, well, I'm not really parenting anymore. It's not true. And they're still watching, they're still watching me to see how I behave, and they're watching me to see how I treat my parents because they're getting ideas about how they're going to treat me, and I'm teaching them that as well. I need to set boundaries with my parents, then I need to model that for them because maybe they need to set boundaries with me or their dad, you know? So they're just things that most of the time when I start to feel really down, when I want to start beating myself up, I just need to check what story am I telling myself right now? Because it probably isn't true. That's what I've discovered anyway. Probably isn't true because my disease sort of wants me depressed and down and anxious because that's when temptation occurs. So think about that today. Think about what story are you telling yourself? What story are you telling yourself right now when you feel a certain way? Maybe there's a story you would like to tell yourself more. And that's something that you can work on too when you feel good. What story are you telling yourself then? And maybe that's something you want to remember again and again. Maybe you want to share it with somebody, then they can help you remember. I don't know. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and read from the basic text today of NA. This is just for today from page 99 in the NA basic text. We live a day at a time, but also from moment to moment. When we stop living in the here and now, our problems become magnified unreasonably. Patience isn't a strong point with us. That's why we need our program of recovery and our friends and support people in recovery to remind us to live our program of recovery just for today. Tell yourself, just for today, my thoughts will be on my recovery, living and enjoying life without the use of drugs and alcohol. Just for today, I will have faith in someone in recovery who believes in me and wants to help me in my recovery. Just for today, I will have my program of recovery. I will try to follow it to the best of my ability. Just for today, through recovery, I'll try to get a better perspective on my life. Just for today, I will be unafraid. My thoughts will be on my new associations, people who are not using drugs and alcohol and who have found a new way of life. So long as I follow that way, I have nothing to fear. You're not alone. We're on this together. Reach out, let people know what you need. Check what story you're telling yourself today. See how that feels. If you want to change the story, you need to tell yourself a different story. Let's work with that. We can go ahead and we'll close out with the we version of the Serenity Prayer. And I'm around if you need me. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today. Amen. Happy Thursday. Have a great day. Restart your day at any time if you need to. And, work it, you're worth it. I'll talk to you guys soon.